Hey everyone, welcome to a new DM Drive. Thank you for spending some time with me. I thought I would cover giving medical in role-playing games today. Okay, so healing or giving medical or providing assistance to characters. I think this is something that in different games, of course, has different mechanics. It's kind of interesting to me in Dungeons and Dragons. One of the things that kind of comes up, of course, it always depends on which edition of the rules you're playing. If somebody's going to use a heal spell, because of the mechanic in Dungeons and Dragons where people have to rest to get their skills back, not everybody is always able to heal characters, right? They may not have that ability. There's always potions to fall back on, or of course magic items in fantasy games. In the game that me and my friends play, the DDWRPG system, which is a Doctor Who role-playing game variant that we kind of have together, characters have to give medical assistance to people, and they of course have to make a skill roll, a skill check opposite the ability to give medical attention. This works pretty good. Sometimes if characters have like a medical kit or a piece of equipment, you might get a plus to that level, or an adjustment to the target number that one has to roll. And for me, I think that's a pretty good system. Different systems have different rules, of course. And in the game that we play, there's an automatic healing system. It presumes that if you are hurt, that you will take care of yourself, you will favor the injury, that you will of course try to automatically give yourself medical attention. And in that, there's actually a wound heal process in the original FASA Doctor Who role-playing game, meaning that you get a certain number of hit points back just for resting and presumably taking action to heal yourself. The game does not allow a character to heal themselves directly, aka to use a medical kit or do an operation on themselves. Generally, doctors aren't able to heal themselves, right? Like, if you had to reset a bone, with a broken arm or something like that, or do surgery on yourself, that is actually a very hard task to do. That's not to say that it does not happen. Okay, there are exceptions to people actually helping and healing themselves, giving serious medical attention. I can think of a case in Antarctica where a doctor was isolated and had to actually operate on themselves because that was the only way that they could actually heal themselves, and they were stuck where they were at for, I think, 6 months without having anybody go there. And so that's sort of a drastic extreme case with drastic extreme measures, of course. But generally, in order to get medical attention, you need somebody to help you out, right? If you have a gunshot, for example, and it's anywhere that you cannot reach, okay, you're not able to help yourself, right? Especially like you get hurt in the back or something like that. Healing you requires another person, right? And in general, human beings are pack mammals who work together in teams in order for each other to survive. That's one of the things that comes with intelligence. So in the game that we play, we don't allow a person to give themselves medical. Now, that's something that you can change if you want, right? So a game master has the flexibility to create rules that work for their particular game or their particular system. And even I feel very strongly that there should always be a chance for somebody to do something, right? Generally, the players don't ask for that chance because they know that in our game that they automatically get some hit points back. But most of the time when we're mid-adventure, the players don't want to take a 24-hour rest to get a certain number of hit points back. And because of that, they don't actually take that rest. They want a faster healing, right? So they want to have a doctor come and heal them, give them medical attention, give them the appropriate medication or drugs to get them back on their feet and moving and back in action, right? In our game, there's always a presumption when the if a character is hurt and they're healed up, that when they get back to their home base, okay, when they get back to Zepo's ship, that they are actually going and getting the medical attention that they need, right? So meaning that they may be full hit points, but in reality there are injuries and additional healing and help and work that needs to be done, right? Usually, even though you can get helped by, a battlefield medic or something like that, really that usually comes with additional attention after a mission is over, right? And there's just sort of a presumption there that when they return to home base, that those characters who've been seriously hurt get the medical attention that they need, right? But most medical help that people need are mid-game during an adventure, right? So you're like, hey, I need to re-up my hit points. I'm wounded, right? Similar to real life, right? People get wounded on a battlefield. In modern warfare, we very often have the opportunity when somebody's wounded to evacuate them or medevac them away from that location so that they can get the help that they need. But traditionally in warfare, going back to ancient times, if somebody was wounded on a battlefield, you'd have to gut it out, or you'd get as much help as you could and then continue the fight, and that is a pretty rough situation, right? There's a reason that people and soldiers, who win the Medal of Honor, for example, in the U.S. military, that they've sustained multiple injuries because they are not letting their friends get hurt, and they continue to fight, or whatever job they have to do. Sometimes it's not fighting, right? Whether it's healing other people or doing different things, all of those other things they actually need to do and help, right, people. And but they have to gut through that, right? They have to continue making sure that they accomplish and do the medical tasks that they need to do, So when what I mean by medical tasks is that they are injured and need to keep going to do whatever the task is. Usually it's like fighting or combat or solving the adventure at hand, or finishing doing the computer stuff, or finishing negotiations, or trying to help other people, whatever that case might be. So in whatever system that you are using, make sure that there's an opportunity for those players to get that medical help, and find that system of medical help and that rule set that seems to work for your game, right? I think a lot of games make healing people and getting help kind of sometimes too simple, in the sense that when a person is wounded, we'll just quickly have them drink a potion, and now you don't have to hobble along on a broken leg anymore. I actually think that when players and game masters lean into injuries, right, it makes a game more epic. So playing injuries, right? A person is actually blinded, and when they're blinded that was kind of weird. We drove into the sun there. We were literally blinded. When a person is actually blinded, that is kind of an interesting twist to the game, where the players have to react to that injury in a different way, that it changes how they can play the game. And I think a lot of systems don't necessarily always lean into that injury, but I think it can make for excellent games when a character loses their hearing and they can't hear anything. It's kind of interesting sometimes to hand a player a set of headphones with nothing but maybe a little bit of music in there, and then they suddenly have to play the rest of the game with only signals from the other players in terms of what happens in the game. I think that can really create some great role-playing situations. And I think that's worth including in a game if that works within your system and game. But leaning into injuries and leaning into medical situations, and leaning into the fact that people have to give different kinds of medical attention, I think can make for a better game. So I just want to recommend that. I think it's worth having conversations about. As I do these DM drives, I like to think about things that can enhance and help people's games be better. And even if it's not something that you regularly do in the game, to have one or two adventures in which you lean into that particular game style to show people that their actions are heroic or that the game is interesting, I really think could be worthwhile. I really hope that you guys are enjoying these DM drives with me. I am enjoying them. I appreciate you guys being there. It allows me also to create some content for you guys and share my ideas while also getting other things done, like my drive to work or whatever might be going on. So wishing you all the best, sending best wishes to all of you guys, and thank you for following me here at DM Drive.